Fees. How much does it freaking cost to run a real estate team? Like, the fees are freaking out of control.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
It's actually a really good question. If you're gonna build a real estate team, if you're gonna pull people together, don't you wanna know what you have to pay them? Don't you wanna know what their expectations are? More importantly, do you know what a win-win is? I mean, ultimately, you want your team freaking incentivized and motivated to find really good deals for you. So today, we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about the actual cost of building a real estate team. We're also gonna talk about the smart way of doing it and the dumb way. There are 6 core people that you're gonna rely on when it comes to investing in real estate. And the first one is what I call the deal finder. A deal finder in real estate could be a bird dog or a maverick getting paid a fee or a piece of the action. Finder fees are usually paid by seller commissions or a fee that you pay between $5,000 and $10,000 for a really good deal. When it comes to buying real estate, one of the things that I just love about it is that all those fees are being paid for by somebody else. The second person involved in a team of people going out and buying real estate is the investor. This is the person that is actually going to own the property, and you better believe that this person has expectations. They want to actually make money. They need their team to perform. They need the real estate to make sense. But the investor doesn't really charge themselves for the time and energy they put in. What they're hoping is that they're going to get paid out on the deal. A real estate investor can be anyone who puts time or money into real estate, whether an active partner or a passive partner. An investor gets paid through ROI, which means they are free to you. Or in other words, they're just going to get paid if the deal is profitable. The third person we're going to talk about on your team is your loan officer. Your loan officer is the person that's going to work with these different banks and basically put the loan in place. And usually the banks are going to pay them some money, but you know what? Before that subprime bubble burst in 2008, there were loan officers charging fees on the front end. They would get paid yield spread premium if they could jack up your rate. I'll never forget how it felt when I closed on an investment property and found out that my rate was a full point higher than it needed to be, literally an entire interest percentage higher, and that he got paid over $10,000 for jacking that rate up. I got punished for what I didn't know. So I want to tell you right now, when it comes to a loan officer, you're looking for a good one. You're looking for one that has your interests in mind. A loan officer is a representative of a bank or a credit union or another financial institution who assists borrowers in the application process, which is definitely different from being a realtor. They get paid by the bank, so in this case, they are free to you. And you know who I like working with more than just loan officers from a bank? I actually looking for loan officers that are brokers that work with a lot of different banks, because guess what you want as the investor? You want the lowest interest rate possible, and that's not up to the loan officer, that's usually up to the bank that you're talking to. Do you know where I got killed on my first real estate deals? I'd get a good deal. It was more of a fixer-upper than I wanted it to be. And then I tried to hire some handyman or someone to do the rehab, right? Someone to go in and fix the floor and do the paint, do the carpet. And you know, these people, they were not ever reliable. They weren't dependable. These aren't people that would show up on time. And of course, I was trying to get a good deal because a professional contractor could charge me $10,000 for something else a handyman could do for $3,000 or $4,000. I want to tell you that this next member of the team, it's really critical. And if you do it wrong, you're going to get screwed. Check it out. This is your Rehab Specialist. Rehab Specialists inspect the property, develop the scope of work, and give you a budget proposal based on what it's going to take to get the job done. And guys, often it's a 20 to 50% markup on cost that's paid up front unless it's worked into the deal. This person can literally be the train wreck of your operation or what feels like your financial savior. Because if you get the wrong person, you're going to feel horrible. If you pick the right person, you're going to feel great. And you know what? There's 2 ways that this goes wrong. Either you overpay or they're just so unreliable that they actually don't even get the job done. Has that ever happened to me? That's why we're talking about it. I'm just going to give you a quick little bit of freemium to help you out on your journey. There's 2 ways to combat this problem. Number 1 is to do a lot of deals. It's called deal flow in volume. Because I do a lot of bulk deals, I basically rehire the same people over and over again. And when they know that the next job is coming with more pay, they become a lot more reliable. But if you don't have deal flow, the other way for you to win is make sure that you withhold paying them everything until the job is done. And what I'll usually do is, let's say I was gonna pay $7,000 for the job. I would tell them, I'm gonna pay you $6,000 for the job, but you're gonna get a $1,000 bonus if you complete it by this deadline. Number 5, property management. If you're going to do a buy and hold, you're going to keep this property for some period of time, someone's got to go out there and find the tenants and vet them and then collect the rents and do all that stuff, manage repairs. That's really what a property manager does. Property management companies deal directly with prospects and tenants, marketing your rentals, collecting rent, handling maintenance and repair issues, responding to tenant complaints, and even pursuing evictions. They can cost 10% of your collected rents plus $1,000 or $2,000 as a setup fee. And I'm going to tell you right now that property management is actually a really important part of my game. Guess what? You will win in bulk. The more deals I give my property managers, the less they actually charge me. But let me share with you one of the warnings. You see, property managers, 10% is not going to buy you a lot of loyalty. If this property is renting for $1,500 a month, what are they going to do? All that work and get paid $150 a month? 10%? That's not a lot. So guess where they sometimes try to make up the money? Oh, the front door needs a repair. We need to redo the lock. It'll be $450. And you're thinking to yourself, I could drive over to Home Depot right now and I could pick up a lock for $28 and have a handyman pay $15 and install that. How come that price just got jacked up? They're trying to actually make money. So you need to make sure when you pick a property management company, go with the bigger one, go with one that is doing well in volume, and then grill them and just make sure that they're honest. Every time they have a repair bid, look at it and ask, does this make sense? And if it doesn't, you got to be the squeaky wheel. You got to get some FaceTime with them and say, hey, can we talk about this? Can we talk about what you're charging me? If you don't think it's fair, go somewhere else. The 6th and final member of the team is who's doing the freaking books. Who's doing the accounting? This is your bookkeeper. I'm going to tell you right now that there is no school called School for Bookkeepers where everyone does everything the same.
I'm just like you. You are?
Did you know that the IRS tax code is crazy complicated? Most of it's just open to interpretation. And I found that when you work with accountants and bookkeepers, most of them have their own way of doing things. That can really screw you over if you're not working with an experienced bookkeeper. Bookkeeping is the recording of each and any financial transaction that occurs through the business. So guess what? You're going to be collecting rents every month. That needs to be logged in your books. But then you have to pay your mortgages. That also has to be logged appropriately. Maybe there's a bill that comes up that has to be logged appropriately. If you see my video on depreciation, right? Like you have to make sure that that is captured appropriately. It's typically $15 to $20 an hour to hire a bookkeeper. And I'm just going to tell you right now, you should look for a bookkeeper that has experience. This is someone that has been probably doing books for 10 or 20 years. They've done it for 100 different outfits. That's who I'm looking for. In my world, where I've got 200 experts on my team, I hire a full suite of CFOs. Literally, I have the people at the highest level of licensure because guess what? I don't want any screw-ups when you're dealing with thousands of properties. So what really is the cost of assembling a real estate team and paying them for all their different functions? Well, as you can see, whether it's the deal finder or the loan officer or the rehab specialist, some of these people literally come to you for free because they're paid for by other people. Some of these you need to pay for, but I find that if you're a brand new real estate investor, at least for my first 100 deals, I was paying in hindsight between $10,000 and $16,000 a deal. And you know what? When I was new to the game, I was not factoring that into my overall return on investment. In other words, real estate actually cost me more money than I thought because there's all these fees associated with it. Fortunately, there is a shortcut to paying a lot less money. Pros and cons to building a team is what we have on the left side here. Each completed deal creates a better team. Like you guys get used to each other, your communication improves, you get to maintain total control because this is your team. But on the downside, there's trial and error, there's hiring and firing, there's significant time and financial costs of that kind of turnover, and of course you have the $10,000, $15,000, $16,000 that you're paying out for these people to do their different jobs. This is really a great model for the person watching this. If you're a subscriber that says, Kris, I'm hands-on, I love to be involved in the deal, you're definitely gonna wanna build a team. But you know what, I also have people watching my channel that say, you know, Kris, I like what you say. If you want it done right, don't do it yourself. And in that case, guess what I've done? You can hire a team. I've built an amazing team. And let me just leverage some of my experience for you here. The positives, there can be a significant amount of savings when it comes to time and money. You eliminate expenses that amateurs make, and I get all of my costs down to under $4,000 a deal, as opposed to the $12,000 that I used to pay because of how many deals that I'm doing. But there are some downsides. You lose day-to-day control because now you have someone else doing it for you, and it requires a high level of trust. You gotta make sure that you do some due diligence. This is ultimately perfect for people that say, you know what, I really like to be hands off. You know, with millions of people collectively watching my videos every day from all around the world, there's a lot of those people that will come and hit me up and say, Kris, will you partner with me? Will you get me in on your deal flow? Will you help me tap into these really high ROIs? And when they do that, they have to do some due diligence on my last $1 billion worth of real estate. And this is what it looks like. When people click the link below and say, Kris, I want to look at what it means to partner with you, here's what my process looks like. Number one, you basically submit your information in the form below and say, hey, I would like to be considered as a partner. And then I've got some videos there, and you got to talk to my team, and you got to convince me that you're not like a weirdo, a weird person, a difficult person to work with, a super negative person. Like, I want to work with someone that I like because I'm giving you my freaking cell phone, right? We're going to be doing this for a long time. I could take $50,000 and in 20 years turn that into millions of dollars. So I want to work with people I like. If that partner ends up joining, I then set them up to start working with me and my team. I assign you a portfolio manager. You're basically on a text thread with me, members of my team. Then we're going through the lending pre-qualification process. Once we know how we're going to buy this, either with your credit or without, because I got both options, we then start acquiring a deal. I actually look at what's available and what meets my minimum criteria of at least a 25% annual ROI. That's really important to me because in 5 years, I'm going to double that to a 50% ROI. And at year 10, it's going to be 100%. And after 20 years, the goal is for that to become a 400% annual ROI. Stuff the stock market can't touch. Then we're going to close on the deal. It's going to go into my management machine where it'll get deposited in the LLC, and property management is going to start getting it rented out. And we're going to look at the rinse and repeat. How soon, how quickly can we buy another house so that we can cash in on all these benefits? I would say in total for my partners that work with me, they probably put in a handful of hours their very first month. And then afterwards, their contribution, it's measured in minutes. Because I've got 200 experts on my team. I spent literally a couple $1 million building out that team, but they're amazing. We're good at what we do. We know exactly what we're doing. And if you're more of the hands-on, you should not click the link below. But if you're thinking, you know, Kris, I got some money in 401k or IRA or some equity in my home, and I think I would love to be more committed to my family, my career, or other pursuits, and just partner with someone that gets it, going on a 50-50 relationship, you should definitely click the link below. There's some great videos there that will educate you and show you my track record and see if we might actually have a fit. Hey, thank you so much for watching today. Listen, if you're not a subscriber, fix that right now. I come out with videos every week, multiple times, that are designed to awaken your financial genius. And if you're thinking, man, Kris, I'd love to get in the game of real estate, but dude, this looming crash, 2021, it's gonna be like a bust, isn't it? You need to watch this video right here, my friend. Let me set the record straight. This worst economy is actually the best. But I have the best and highest words that I can't think in this moment, that licensure, that's the word. Licensure.